Now, the title of this episode is a little bit vague because yesterday's episode went up pretty late into the day, much later than it was supposed to be, thanks to a weird YouTube scheduling conflict that resulted in it not going live when it was supposed to. So, with that said, if you have not seen yesterday's episode, go watch that one first. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The result of that last episode was that we lived to see another day. We beat the Vancouver Canucks in overtime in Game 7 to punch our ticket back to the Western Conference Final. Again, this team pushed to the limits, but a huge winning goal from, I believe, Cale Clegg, of all people, if I'm not mistaken about that one. Of course, I did end up recording a Patreon series episode as well. That was also a playoff episode, so I feel like I might get some of the details wrong. But regardless, we are here. The chance to defend our title is still very much on the line and up for grabs. Standing in our way, the 44-win Minnesota Wild. Now, I took a look at the lines. This is the team that I wanted to go with, but of course, Dylan Guenther can't be dropped, as annoying as that is. So the easy solution here is to flip around Savoy and Guenther, even though Guenther doesn't exactly deserve as much to be on that top line. But hey, we're going to do what we can. It's actually going to be Duchesne, Kupari, and Guenther, which is a little bit weird. But, again, Kupari does have that slightly better face-off percentage. Grundstrom, Turcotte, Savoy. Of course, Grundstrom and Turcotte have been, a little bit slow. Savoy has been fantastic, but again, we need to have a sniper on each line, and Guenther and Savoy are the two best snipers that this team has. The third line, of course, still been doing pretty well. Tyler Madden a little bit quieter than perhaps I would have expected at certain points, but that's just because he has set the bar so high for himself. Defensively, I have put Marcus Phillips back in. He and Mo Marsh really struggled against the Vancouver Canucks, but we'll see what he's capable of. Now, the big story here, Carter Hart was fantastic in our first round series, but really struggled against the Canucks. I mean, he went from nearly a 970, if not an outright 970, to a 918 over the next 7 games, or at least, the percentage dropped that much. We don't know what version of Carter Hart we're going to see. And of course, when we made it to the conference final last year, Carter Hart went down to injury, and Brandon Kolanos was forced to take over. And ultimately, he did end up helping us. He ended up helping us win the Stanley Cup. Easy for me to say. The phrasing of that was a little bit off. But I think, again, the top 6, we know the bottom 6 is set in stone. The top 6, we can continue to try and shuffle things around to get everybody involved and to get everybody going. But obviously, again, we know what's at stake for us. But Minnesota, 44-38 technically. Yet here they are, 4 wins away from making it to the Stanley Cup final. Let's take a look at what we're up against here. We're in trouble, aren't we? We are in trouble, aren't we? Because there is no reason for us to lose to this team. Not at all. Top line, yeah, of course, Kaprizov's been absolutely ridiculous alongside Galchenyuk and Travis Konechny. No real surprise to see that top line being as dominant as they are. All great contracts, too. Second line, Kevin Fiala next to Ryan Donato and Dmitry Sokolov. So that second line's doing really well as well. Jesus Christ, Kevin Fiala. Again, don't ever tell me the AI don't hand out contracts like I do. Jordan Greenway next to Grant Mismash and Matt Nieto, who has 10 damn points. They're playing like one hell of a team, man. And then we have Lawson Krause, Colton Sissons, and Mackenzie Entwistle on the fourth line. So it's not the most impressive team in terms of overalls, but I mean it's a very efficient team. Defensively, though, is where we have the advantage, I would say. They don't have a true number 1 defenseman. I mean, granted, we don't either, but, again, it's not this ridiculous defense that we shouldn't be able to break down. Philip Johansson and Kalen Addison, Brendan Goulet next to Braden Schneider, Jeremy Lauzon. So with Tarmo Rananen, I'm going to go with Rananen, who was he was a Rangers prospect. So, all in all, a lot of money in on the offense. I don't see why they paid Goulet that much money, but sure. Addison's also getting paid quite a bit. Who's the goaltender? I just literally face-palmed. No disrespect to Hunter Jones. But if this offense can't rip apart Hunter Jones and this defense, I don't know what we're here for. Holla, Boldy, and Bunneman. Is Bunneman the best surname in the NHL today? Bunneman. What a fantastic name. I'd love to know the origins of the name Bunneman. Great stuff. All in all, unsurprisingly, we should win this series. We're going to be the favorites on paper. We're the favorites in general. It's just whether or not we can get the job done. We have the advantage in every single aspect. There is no reason at all as to why we should not and cannot, could not, won't not. We should win. Damn it. The Ontario Reign bounced back. They beat the Stockton Heat in 6. They're going on to the conference final to play the San Antonio Rampage. It's the Rampage. I know. It's funny to call them the Rampage. What do you want from me? Calm down. Buffalo up 1-0 on Ottawa. Go Sabres. I think I've wasted enough time. I think I've set the stage well enough. Game 1 of the Western Conference Final. Again, this team has no excuses. We need to win, and we need to make it back to the Cup Final. Pretty straightforward. First period, scoreless. Interesting. 15 shots to 13. So again, defensively we're allowing quite a few shots here. Second period, goal apiece, a mismatch, and Rasmus Kupari on the power play. 59 combined shots through 40 minutes of play. Both these goaltenders have had a phenomenal performance so far, but now it's just whether or not we can get the difference-making goal here. We've yet to lead throughout this first game of the series, and that next goal is extremely important as we hit the halfway point of this third period. Can we score? Power play for Minnesota. We kill it. Come on. Somebody. Turcotte. Somebody. Turcotte. Damn it. We go to overtime here in game 1. 40 shots to 37. Again, a tremendous performance, one that you would expect from Carter Hart. Maybe not so much from Hunter Jones, but hey, it works. Overtime. Get your predictions in, because here we go. 3, 2, 1. Overtime. Come on, somebody, please, on our team, please. Philip Johansson on Minnesota's 46th shot of the game wins it for Minnesota. We drop game 1 to the inferior team. Our offense could not solve Hunter Jones, and we certainly cannot blame Carter Hart for that loss. Matt Savoy took 8 shots and could not get one past the opposing goaltender. Vince Dunn was on the ice for both of their goals against. Carter had a phenomenal game. It was the team in front of him that failed him. All those shots, and we can't solve a 79 overall goaltender. That is extremely problematic. All right. Let's do this. Game 2. I'm not going to make any lineup changes just yet. We're going to stick with it. But we are in desperate need of some offense here. First period. Well, we got some offense, but the defense didn't show up. Kaprizov scores, Savoy ties it, Fiala scores, Clegg ties it. We have yet to lead in this series through 4 periods of play. Incredibly disappointing. This one, though, up for grabs. Travis Konechny regains the lead for the Wild, scoring on former teammate Carter Hart. I don't know why I'm quick simming the second period. We're getting destroyed here. Let's just sim to the end of this here. Holy crap. Okay, so now Carter Hart's not having a very good game. Konechny, Sokolov, Bunneman, and Fiala. Turcotte gets one back. And yes, Fiala's goal is from center ice. 6-3 is your score heading into the third period here. Make it 7. Jordan Greenway, Kalanos is in. Carter Hart done. So we go from our offense not showing up to our goaltending not showing up. And the Minnesota Wild are going to take both games on the road to start this series What the hell is going on? Nothing. No response from this team. 7-3 is your final score for the Wild. Travis Konechny with a 4-point game. Remember the good old days of 2BC calling him Konecki. And people get on his case as much as they get on mine about names. This, I can only joke around and laugh right now because, holy hell, we're getting absolutely pooped on. It's the only way to put it. We go from Carter Hart having a great game and the offense not showing up to the offense doing okay, and then Carter Hart completely disappeared. I mean, we were outscored 9-4 over the first 2 games of this series on home ice. Buffalo is also up 2-0 in their series. We're not out of it, but this first game here in Minnesota is going to go a long way in determining what the hell happens here. So amongst the top 6, 15 points for Savoie. Turcotte has just not been where I've needed him to be. So we're going to say, let's call Savoie a 22, combining the goals, assists, and the plus-minus, because, again, 5-on-5 play is so huge. Call you a 13, so we'll swap you two around. At this point, I don't even care about snipers and playmakers. Genther has to play on that top line, as frustrating as that is. So, again, Savoie is a 22. We'll call Kapari a 22. I mean, really, this team is set up about as well as it can be with the line combinations. It really is. I'm going to put Duchesne back at center. I mean, we just need this team to wake up a little bit. We really do. It's just what it comes down to. They need to wake up. Unfortunately, Phillips and Marsh, it hasn't really improved. So we're going to put Derek Forbort back in. Not the ideal third pairing defenseman, but hey, we're, dealing with what we have to deal with here. I'm not too happy with Bjorn Font and Asimov, if I'm being honest. Clague's been a little bit better than Vince Dunn, so we're going to go with Clague and Anisimov, Dunn and Bjorn Font. And then Marsh and Forbort. The Forbort. And then Carter Hart, we've seen a little bit of everything from him in this series thus far. We head into Game 3. We need a win. Desperately. Let's see what we can do. Can we battle our way back into the series? Will it be the home team losing trend? We need to hope that's the case. First period, better start. We actually lead for the first time in the series thanks to Kapari and Jarrett Anderson-Dolan. Colton Sissons ends up getting them back to within 1. We doubled them up in shots, though. Second period is scoreless, which is pretty good news for us. We go to the third, up by 1. Much better performance from Hart thus far. Power play opportunity here. Carl Grundstrom. Thank you very much. Now up by 2 for the second time in this game. Another power play chance. This one goes to waste. Under 7 minutes to play now. Can we hold on is the question. The answer is... What is the answer? Oh my God, no. Oh, boys, you're gonna embarrass yourself against the Minnesota Wild like this, huh? Kaprizov and Fiala. We're going to overtime here in Game 3. And I can't help but think if we lose here, this series is over. Somebody needs to step up here, please. For the love of God, do not go down 3-0 to the Minnesota Wild here in the conference final. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't tell me that Vancouver series took too much out of you. Power play, yes! Oh, Rick Van Katterson. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Rick Van Katterson is your hero and mine. He wins the day. And the LA Kings survive a scare in overtime of Game 3 after blowing a lead in the final 2 minutes or so. And indeed, we are back in this series, perhaps undeservedly so, but a win is a win is a win. We'll take that. And again, Tyler Madden goes down to injury. That sucks. A lot. That really does suck. That means Drake is potentially slotting in here. He does fit in really well on that third line. I wonder if we swap him and Van Katterson. I mean, it's either we give Drake a chance there or we call up Wheel, Pylon, Foligno. I mean, Ulbrich, Duhaime, Curry, or Powell. I mean, At this point, of course, with the AHL, it's been about like, okay, what are the best lines? And these are the best line combos to give the team a chance to win. That's why we've been running with it. I'm going to stick with it. I mean, if we lose this game, we'll probably sub out Reimsha, and I mean, who knows about forward on that third pairing. He hasn't done much. I mean, he's only played 2 games and been a little bit shaky, but we don't really have that many better options if Marcus Phillips is going to continue to struggle. Point being, we're back in this series. It's now 2-1 for Minnesota. Ottawa also won. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. A crucial 4th game in this series. We need a win. Can we get it? First period. Good start yet again. Sean Corrali and Dylan Genther on the power play, and another former Bruin, Ryan Donato, gets the goal. It's 2-1 in our favor. They had the shot advantage, though. Second period. We cannot hold on to leads to save our lives. Now, Drake scores, which is great. But then Donato with a shorty and Mackenzie Entwistle is able to tie it up. Shots are about even. The score is dead even. Heading into the third period of Game 4, what is again essentially must win as Matthew Savoy scores on the power play early. Minnesota can't take advantage of their own man advantage. So we'll see what happens here. Halfway through the third, we need another insurance goal. I just have a feeling that 4-3 isn't going to hold. It might. Power play goes to waste. Rasmus Kapar, the empty netter. Thank God, I thought they scored. The home team trend rears its ugly head. But at the very least, that means this series is tied through 2 games, or through the first 4 games now, at 2 games apiece. As we take Game 4 by the score of 5-3. Kapari, Genther, and Duchesne really leading the way. Anisimov and Clegg had solid games. Turcotte, Savoy, not so much. Carter Hart, decent effort. Not an amazing effort. But it was good enough to help get us the win. Game 5 is a complete toss-up here in terms of how this is going to go down. We are still without Tyler Madden. Buffalo now up 3-1 on Ottawa. I'm not going to make any changes to the team. Let's just go for it. This is it. Game 5, we need a win here desperately yet again. We need to snap this streak and have the edge heading into Game 6 back in Minnesota. First period, good start for the Wild, though. Mo Marsh. Is that Mo Marsh's first ever goal? I think Mo Marsh just scored his first ever goal. 2 goals from Sissons, though, kind of ruins the occasion. Second period. Oh, boy. Down 2-1 here, heading into the third. Just 15 shots put up by this 100-rated offense. They need to get it together. We're getting a lot of shots here, but we haven't found the back of the net yet, I hope. Halfway through the third, Matt Duchesne, let's go. This game is tied up at 2. Very important 5th game. Power play from Minnesota goes to waste. Kevin Fiala scores anyway. 2-1 final minute. And we blow it. Kevin Fiala scores the winner. The home team has still yet to win in this series. We are struggling to solve Hunter Jones, of all players. And now find ourselves facing elimination. We need to win 2 in a row here. We have to hope that home team trend continues for at least 1 more game, as Buffalo and Ottawa also going to Game 6. God, what are we going to do here? Drake's been fine. Van Kadishin's been struggling a little bit. I want to get Rick back in his normal spot. We need to make a change on that 4th line. I know Corrali has 5 points, but there needs to be a change there. What that change is, I don't know. I really don't, because we're going to lose that plus. Drake hasn't been that bad, though. What are we going to do here? Now, Duham can't really play center. It needs to be a center, too, which Wagner and Luff are not. So the question is, I mean, Foligno can play center. Pilon can play center. Wheel can, but he's not that physical. Sanford doesn't really fit in. There's Albrecht. Kit Powell. Again, I really don't want to call up. There's Shore. Yuha Curry is probably the call-up option here. If we're being honest, I think Yuha's probably the guy. And then defensively, Forbort hasn't been that bad. It's just, do I want to trust him here? And I probably do. I think I'd rather have him in this lineup than maybe, somebody else. Now, Tyler Madden is hurt, but I cannot play him. I simmed up to the day of the game, right? I did. So, yeah, Tyler Madden will not be playing. Because in case we do win this game and force Game 7, we need to make sure he's at 100%. It's not worth risking him. Say we advance, but then, we lose Tyler Madden here. It's a devastating injury. So the only other options here would be Spence, Van Allen, who again we couldn't call up because of the penalty minutes. So really it's Spence or Patrick. It's pretty much what we would be looking at. And we called up Spence before. I want to see what some of these guys look like here. Let's send down Tremblay for the moment. It's going to piss off some people, but what are you going to do? And then forward-wise, let's say Corrali and Drake are sent down. And we bump up Curry. We could give Kip Powell the opportunity on that third line. Maybe now is the time to try and trust some of the youth. We got to throw everything at the wall that we possibly can here and go with the best lines that we possibly can. So let's say on this fourth line that it is in fact one Juha Curry to keep that +5. And then here on the left-hand side, we go with Kip Powell, whose name is amazing, Kapow, with Anderson, Dolan, and Van Kadishin. And then in that top 6, of course, Genther is safe. But from there, who gets to play? I mean, Savoy, let's see, he's at a 21. Turcotte has just struggled mightily. And then we'll say that's a 12 for him as well, if I'm looking at points and plus-minus. That's the issue. Like, Turcotte and Grundstrom just aren't getting it done. They're just not. I want to run Duchesne, Kupari, and Savoy as a line. Because they have undoubtedly been our best players, but the only way to do that is to play them on the second line, and that's exactly what I'm going to have to do. Honestly, I think, yeah, we run Duchesne, Kupari, Savoy, and then we'll go Grundstrom, Turcotte, Genther. I think that's pretty much the best version of this team that we can throw out there right now, especially with Tyler Madden's injury. And then defensively, I want to see who fits in well here with Mo Marsh. What about Jordan Spence? Absolutely not. Jordan Spence can't play that third pair. What about Ned Patrick? Absolutely not. Ned Patrick can't play that third pair. So we might have to rely on Derek Forbort at this point in time. Or we try to rely on Van Allen, but I am extremely concerned about potential penalty minutes racking up. And again, Phillips just hasn't been strong when given the opportunity. I am not against checking out Bankston and seeing what he can do in this instance. So we'll go best lines here in Ontario. And then back here, who fits in on that third pair? How well does Van Allen slot in? Van Allen can play it. What about Bankston? Bankston cannot. So it's either Van Allen, Forbort, or Phillips. I like Marcus Phillips. You could argue he hasn't even been that bad. I do think he is our best option alongside Marsh. They have that familiarity. I'm going to reunite Dunn and Clegg out of pure necessity. It's time for them to really kind of show their worth as our top 2 defensemen. That's the team. That's how we're doing it. This is how we do it. We're going to see if it pays off for us. It's the only thing you can say. So Powell and Curry get a huge opportunity here. We're facing elimination in Game 6 here in Minnesota. Something's got to give. We can't fight our way through. We fall short in a season that will never lose that feeling of we should have won. There's just no way we're going to be able to shake off that feeling. Because it's the truth. Now it has Marcus Phillips in on the power play of all people. I don't know why. So we're going to quickly have to look at reworking this a little bit. Now those are the top lines right there. So then we have Grundstrom. I mean, it's Van Kadishin, Anderson, Dolan, and instead of Phillips, it would be Powell. But instead of that, I'm going to go with Dunn and Clegg rather than Anisimov. Let's get our top two defensemen in here, and we'll see what they can do. So for those right-handed shots, it'll be Genther. And I guess, yeah, Kapari will be moving over. So we're going to want those two there. And then at center will be Duchesne. I think we'll have Vince Dunn here. So Savoy, Duchesne, Anderson, Dolan with Kapari and Clegg. Genther, Turcotte, Grundstrom with Van Kadishin and Dunn. If those power play units can't put anything together, then who the hell can? I don't obviously want Juha Curry in on two particular penalty kill lines. Can Van Kadishin go on the PK? Yes, he can. This is it. This is it. Time for everyone to play the best hockey they ever dang old done play. Let's do this. No Tyler Madden. Kapow. And Juha Curry are in. Let's see what happens. First period, 2 goals apiece. Jesus. Kaprizov on the power play. Kapari. Kaprizov on the power play. Savoy on the power play. 13 shots to 9. We're tied at 2. Second period, we're tied at 3. Travis Konechny and Alex Turcotte. Is it too little too late for Turcotte to actually show up this postseason? This could do it. The only period of hockey that we're guaranteed for the rest of this postseason. Goulet scores immediately. 41 seconds in. Renanen scores. And Carter Hart is going to leave Los Angeles with a cup ring, but in the aftermath of getting outdueled by 79 overall Hunter Jones. Ryan Donato ends it. And this team just absolutely choked. Absolutely choked. Ran out of gas, ran out of steam. Holy hell, is that frustrating. I am so sorry, Matt Duchesne. I think you won a cup. I think you won a ring, but Jesus, if you didn't, and this was your best chance to do so, I am so sorry that Alex Turcotte didn't show up. I am so sorry that, Carl Grundstrom was okay, but I am sorry that our defense couldn't get it done. I am sorry that Carter Hart just lit a pile of money on fire. Good fucking riddance. Good riddance to Carter Hart. Congrats, you have a cup ring. Now get the hell off of my team, because there is no chance in hell I wouldn't pay you half of that. So figuring out who our goalie is going to be next year is pretty interesting, because it for sure is not going to be Carter Hart, whose lack of heart really screwed us over there if you think about it. We have some other contracts to handle and to attend to, and Anisimov and Bjornfot. Of course, next year as well, Mauricio Drury will be an NHLer. Matt Duchesne probably won't be back. We need to decide what happens with the likes of Tyler Madden in our fourth line. And who knows, maybe the big 3 becomes a big 2, because I'm not too happy with a certain $14 million man at this point in time. This series continues onward, but our postseason run ends here in 6 games to the Minnesota Wild. Just what an absolute disgrace.